Today we're going to talk about full-time RV living, what you need to know, and we're going to provide you with 5 tips about full-time RV living and maybe even a bonus tip at the end. So you're going to want to stick around for that. So if you're new to our channel, I'm Gordon.
And I'm Alice.
And we're roaming with the Ramsays. About 1 year ago,
Yep, about 1 year.
we announced that we were going to start living full-time in our RV. It took about 4 months for us to get everything sold, sell our house, get rid of our possessions and things like that, and actually start doing it. And over the last 8 months, we've learned some pretty important tips, I think, about how to live full-time in an RV. And we wanted to share those tips, those tricks with you, so you know, to help you make a better decision, because we know how challenging a decision that can be.
Right, absolutely. So we started out actually 4 years ago because we bought a trailer. We had a small one, so we did 3 years of weekend RV living, which was a lot of fun, which led us to where we are today.
Correct.
So we think that we could bring you some great tips on how to be successful for you.
And most of these tips are lessons learned for us.
Right.
Whether it's a personal lesson we learned the hard way, or whether it's a lesson that we learned from somebody else.
From watching, yes.
So make sure you stick around because these tips are important to your success. Let's talk about our first topic, ways to live full-time in an RV.
I think this is the most important.
Of course it is, because this is what really helps you make your decision. When you're thinking about, can I, you need to know there are different ways to do it.
Right.
And we've really come across 3 different ways. Work camping, retired, and remote workers.
Yeah.
So a work camper, just as a brief description, is somebody who exchanges their work or their services for their campsite in an RV park or a campground. Now, that's what Alice and I have done over the last 8 months. Alice typically works in the office. I typically work outside doing lawn care, things like that. So that's pretty good because you're getting your site for a certain number of hours that you work.
Right.
And all of these work camping jobs are a little bit different of what comes with them and how many hours you have to work for the site and whether you get paid after working a certain number of hours or not. So a great resource for looking into work camping is workamper.com. They have a lot of eligible jobs that you can apply for, and just to do a little bit of research, you can go on and check it out.
Right, absolutely. So the second way is retirement. Have worked really hard throughout their life, and they have their retirement income now, and they decide that it's time to go on the road. And whether it's just snowbirding, you know, the snowbirds, you know, that you're going to go to Florida for the winter time, you're going to go north for the summertime. We've met a lot of people who are out there in their retirement enjoying full-time RV living. So that's a great way to do it also.
Now, what some people do, because their retirement may not be enough to where they feel comfortable traveling and just living off their retirement income, is they'll blend work camping and retirement income to offset the heavy expense of the campsite.
Right, and we've met several couples who have done this.
And the third way that people do it is through remote working.
COVID has helped with this, and we have seen a lot more RVers out there because of COVID and the ability to work from home.
Makes a big difference because before COVID, there were quite a few employers that were doing remote working types positions, but since COVID has come around, there are a lot more employers that are doing it.
Absolutely.
And we've spent the last 8 months work camping. Alice's prior employer called her a couple weeks ago and asked her if she was interested in working remotely. So we're going to change the way that we live full-time in our RV now. And instead of work camping, we're going to start living a remote worker's lifestyle. in the RV.
We might go back to work camping because
We
I
might.
really enjoy it.
Right. But this will give us the freedom to travel a little bit more, because when you
Right.
do work camp, you tend to stay in one location for a couple of months.
Yeah.
There are some positions where they only want you for a short period of time, but when you work camp, they're usually looking for a 3-month commitment.
Yes. All right. So I think we have covered ways
to live full-time in an RV.
Yes.
So our next topic is going to be, problems are going to happen. I mean, if you've
Yes.
ever owned a house, rented a house, or lived in a house, you know that even in a house that's of sturdy construction,
that doesn't move anywhere.
doesn't move down the road, stuff still happens to it, right?
Right.
So problems will happen in an RV. Expect them to happen. Do the best you can to prepare for when they happen, how you're going to deal with them, and then just learn what kind of problems you might be able to help prevent happening.
So a couple of the problems that we have personally had are tires, for
Tires.
one.
Both trailers, we've had problems with tires.
Yes.
And it's not that they were bad tires.
No.
It's that we picked up a nail or a bolt or something like that. Our very first trailer, our very first trip from Anchorage, Alaska to Seward, Alaska, set up in a campground, spent the long weekend there, got ready to go, and I got
We
a
were
flat
doing
tire.
our checks,
Right? So
and
something you need to know, trailers do not come with jacks, tire irons, or anything really for you to be able to change a tire. So the day you buy your trailer, I suggest go and buy the equipment you need to change your tire.
right, exactly, yeah. And the other problem, one thing that you do need to do on your first day that you buy it, not only checking for your jack and your tire iron, you need to get a tire pressure monitoring system.
Absolutely, because that's what saved us on our second
On this one,
trailer.
on our second tire.
We
yes.
were moving from Montana to Utah, and we had pulled off in a truck stop, and we're getting ready to get back on the road, and we're on the on-ramp for the freeway, and my tire pressure management system went off and gave me an
Yes.
alarm. I had picked up a screw in the parking lot, so I had an opportunity to stop and get that tire changed
Yes.
before getting on the freeway and getting up to freeway speeds and having the tire blow out, which could have potentially caused an accident and or thousands of dollars of damage to a vehicle.
Yes. So the other problem that we have encountered is with water.
Water.
Tell me, anybody who has not had any water problems, please leave us a comment and let us know how lucky you are.
Right? Because you're going to have something leak.
Yes.
Whether it's a faucet in your kitchen or something that comes out when
Yeah.
you're driving down the road, you get to the campsite, you turn the water on, and the faucet's wide open and it starts spraying water all over the counter, which gets on the floor, or whether a connection goes loose.
So
it's going to happen.
check your connections under our sink. One of our connections on our last trailer kept coming loose every time that we would move, and so I would make it a habit to just tighten that connection every time that we stopped. The other thing with water is before you turn on your water from the outside coming into your RV, make sure that all your faucets are closed. We've made that mistake too. I think that was our first or second trip. We didn't realize that our kitchen sink had vibrated open during our moving.
Right.
So make sure that all your faucets are closed. Just go around and just make that visual look and make sure.
I think it's time to talk about scrambled eggs.
Oh my God, scrambled eggs. So literally, I had eggs in my refrigerator. I pack everything down in the refrigerator. I don't leave anything up on the top racks. My eggs flipped completely over, even though there was stuff on top of them. I don't know how that happened.
It's
But
like
it did.
it's like a miracle, things that happen in your refrigerator when you're going down the road.
They're all broken.
I mean, because we got to the campground, and as soon as we opened the refrigerator door, eggs start oozing out onto the floor. So we're grabbing paper towels to clean up scrambled eggs.
So now I call everything scrambled eggs. No matter how well you pack, everything is going to be scrambled eggs when you get to where you are going. Your clothes are going to be all over the place. Your dishes are going to be everywhere. So keep that in mind when you go to pack up your RV on your move day.
Okay. Tip number 3 is a checklist.
I think tip number 3 is probably the most important tip for anyone, especially newbies.
if you're new to this, you definitely need to have a checklist, and you better follow it.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to forget to do something or not do something correctly.
Yes.
That it can cost you a lot of money.
There's a lot of different checklists out there. You can make your own and have it on a piece of paper.
But if you're new, how do you know what to put
What
on
do
the
you know
piece
what
of
to
paper,
do, right? So there's also some in your apps. So you can go to Google Play or Apple Play or whatever and find a checklist that works for you. We use
RV Checklist.
RV Checklist.
So RV Checklist has like 4 different checklists when you download the app.
Yeah.
You click on, say, departure, and it gives you all different kinds of things. You know, if towing, check trailer, wheel, lug nuts, torque. Okay, perfect. You should do that. And it gives you a checkbox. Touch the
and
box.
some of these things you can do the day before you get ready to leave, so you're not having to do it first thing in the morning with the day you're leaving.
When it comes to tire pressures and tires, I do that typically the day before to make sure I'm not rushed at all. And it gives you inside stuff and outside stuff.
Yes.
What we like the most about it is if there's something on the checklist that does not apply to you, like generator preparation, you can modify the checklist
Yes.
and remove it.
You can delete that.
So you can make it very personal to yourself, and we found that it's a pretty handy app to have.
And I also think that some of these things on here are kind of cute. All the way down at the bottom on your departure day, it says, are all family members inside your vehicle? Are all pets inside your vehicle? Now, I think they're cute, but it could happen.
I've been left behind before. I mean, I don't know what I said to her, but she just left me behind.
I didn't do it. Your mother did.
My mother did. We were
As a child.
We were on a family trip. I was like 10 or 12 years old. We stopped at a convenience store to get some snacks. Mom and Dad, I don't know what they were doing, but they were distracted, got in the car, took off.
Too many kids, I guess.
And I'm left at the store.
So, although I think they're cute, who knows? Somebody might have been left behind. If you know anybody who's been left behind, leave us a comment and let us know your story. I think it would be really nice to read those stories. The other thing is how many times have you been driving down the road and you've seen somebody with a door open on their RV?
Right. Or
that's why checklists are so important.
Or dragging a sewer hose.
Or dragging a sewer hose.
We've seen all kinds of different things.
When you're out here on the road, you see some crazy stuff, and that's why a checklist is your most important thing that you do. For the inside of your trailer and for the outside of your trailer, because you don't want scrambled eggs like what I had.
And we'll leave a link in the description below, or at least the name of the RV Checklist app, so you can either go to Google or Apple and find it and check out and decide whether it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
So tip number 4 is be prepared to feel like you know nothing, Jon Snow, because until you've actually owned an RV, lived in an RV, traveled in an RV, you really don't know what you don't know.
So going back to the checklist really super quick, is if you don't have a checklist, do you know if you forgot anything?
Right.
You don't know.
I mean, there are so many things that you're going to have to learn. And some of it is really super simple, but you would be completely amazed at how many times I've talked to people who are like, RV toilet paper? I didn't know there was such a thing as RV toilet paper.
Right.
You know, and I'm going to ding for a minute on some of these companies that rent RVs and travel trailers and stuff like that, because they do a terrible job of letting the people who are renting their equipment know how to use their equipment.
We had somebody here in this very park that was renting a RV and had no idea about RV toilet paper, and they had a bad clog.
Terrible clog, and those aren't cheap to get cleared out. You know, so you don't know what you don't know until you start doing it, and it's okay. It's okay to go to somebody and ask for help.
Yeah,
you know, for eight months working in an RV park, I've helped so many people with things that they didn't know about their RV. Right. You know, whether it's something as simple as an anode rod, which if you watch one of our videos, I'll link it above or in the description.
One of our very first ones.
One of our early videos, I spoke about an anode rod for your water heater. That's something that needs to be replaced regularly to help maintain your water heater.
We actually helped somebody up in
Yep.
Montana change the anal rod. It was a single female who never even heard of one.
And I hadn't heard of
so-
it either until I saw a video about it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I ought to check on that.
Right, absolutely.
So there's a lot of stuff you're not going to know about. Learn. Whether it's watching videos like this, because we're going to be doing a lot more content like this. So if you like this video and if you like the
Absolutely.
kind of content that we're providing and you want to see more of this kind of content, make sure that you subscribe to our page, because we're going to be bringing you a lot of information about how to live full-time in an RV and things that you need to know about living full-time in an RV.
Did you know that the refrigerator has a drain that you should pull outside so it doesn't drain back into your refrigerator area?
Some are different than others. Did you know that you have
We didn't know that.
Did you know that you have a vent flapper for your exhaust over your stove
Some
on the
lock
outside?
and some don't lock.
Right? So you should either lock it or make sure it's unlocked when you're getting ready to use it.
Right,
So there's a lot you just don't know about an RV.
right.
And it's okay. Ask for
Learn
help.
as you go, and YouTube is a wonderful thing.
Number 5 is really what this whole video is all about,
Right.
I mean, because we've talked about different ways that you can live in an RV. We've talked about being prepared for problems to happen. We've talked about not knowing and feeling comfortable being
Right.
like Jon Snow and you know nothing. We've talked about checklists, and all of that stuff gets you to here,
Yes.
which is RV living rocks.
Right.
I mean, if you're even thinking about it, don't let that idea escape you, because you're going to have experiences that you could never ever have in a house.
Right. Your weekly vacations and your weekend vacations are never going to be like full-time RV
Nope.
living and traveling around the United States and seeing all of the beautiful things. We have totally enjoyed what we've done so far, and so looking forward to what the future brings to us. So yes, RV life rocks big time.
You just have to remember that, we're not saying everything's all,
Roses?
roses and unicorns and pretty rainbows, because it's definitely not.
Right.
But is everything all roses and unicorns and pretty rainbows right now for you? Because you have problems with your house, you have all the things that life is.
Right.
But what you don't have is you don't have the freedom to travel the United States and to meet people and make lifelong friends every single day,
Right.
or to have those people come into your life.
Right.
We've experienced that.
We've made some
a
great
lot of
friends. Great
And
friends.
it's
Jim
been
and
just
Sherry up in
amazing.
Montana.
Yep.
We still keep in touch with them. Of the other work campers,
Tim
Tim
Treffler,
and Larry.
Larry,
We have a group text that we
Yep.
still
Still
talk
keep
to each other
on that group text,
Yeah.
and that's from months ago.
We've met Somewhere sisters who are probably in their early 20s, mid 20s, and they travel as sisters in an RV, and they are experience this as they work full time. Also, we've met 4x4 we've had people approach us on the trail or in the grocery stores, and it was great to have people recognize us.
It's been awesome, and I would never tell you don't do it. I would tell you just do it smartly. And if you're watching this video, that means you're at least on the right path of doing things smartly.
So don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell. That way you will be
You'll
notified.
get notified when we do more content. We're going to
Yeah.
be bringing you a lot more content like this to give you good information of making your dream come true or making your adventure happen
Right.
and going full-time in an RV.
Yeah.
So now, drum roll please. Bonus tip, right? So I promised you at the beginning you're going to get a bonus tip. And this one is a big one.
Yes.
And, it won't apply to all of you, sorry, but if you have a diesel pickup and you want to
or
save
Class
money,
A.
or a Class A that's diesel, anything that operates on diesel as part of your full-time RV living,
Yes.
you need to get involved in this program. And this program is a fuel program through TSD Logistics. And so it's a company down in Texas. It's free for you to apply. They'll send you a card just like mine. And now you have to go to...
We will give you the link.
We'll give you the link to get there, but you
Yes.
have to go into the trucker lanes to get your gas. But just recently when we went to Las Vegas, we pulled into a gas station. I put 28 gallons, I think, in my truck. I saved $11.
$11 on one tank of gas.
On one tank of gas.
Yeah.
So probably the second most expensive thing to living full-time in an RV is going to be fuel, excluding food, but depends on how much you travel. And having a program like the one offered through TSD Logistics that allows you to save all kinds of money as you travel is huge. So make sure that you check out the link in our description for TSD Logistics, and if you choose to sign up for the program, tell them you heard it from us, and we'll get a little bit of a commission for recommending the program and sending you their way.
Right. I believe our account is under Gordon Ramsay. So if you
not that Gordon Ramsay, this Gordon Ramsay.
So if you note it as Gordon Ramsay, then they will know who to put that credit towards. So one small tip when you're at the pump, though, it is a high flow.
Yeah, it's a high flow
pump.
It's not like your normal gas pump where you pull
just
up
be aware of that.
Squeeze that handle all the way. You don't want to do that because these things are designed to fill those huge tractor trailer tanks.
Right.
But it's a great tip. Make sure you look into it. You can save hundreds of dollars. Maybe even thousands of dollars just by using this fuel program. They have an app that you can download.
Easy to use.
Tells you where the fuel stations are. They'll give you directions to the fuel station.
And how
tell you how much you're going to save. And the thing I love the most about it, other than saving money, I can pump DEF right at the pump. I think my last payment for DEF at the pump was like $2.99 a gallon. The last time I bought one of those 2.5 gallon jugs from Walmart, it was like $20 for 2.5 gallons. Well, think about it. $3 a gallon at the pump, I get it full.
Right.
Much better.
Right.
All right, so we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you want more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Right.
Hit the little notification bell and you'll know every time we upload new videos. We're getting ready to do a whole lot of videos about living full-time in an RV. We're going to provide you with as much information as we can to help you be successful, whether you're just starting out, thinking about starting out, or whether you're already on the road. There's always something new to learn.
Right. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, feel free to leave us a comment. We will get back with you as quickly as possible. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram on the link that we leave below.